Hi,
Hey.
guys.
How's it going, Danielle?
Going good. I was like off and then back on. Are we on 1 o'clock?
I'm gonna give everybody about 2 more minutes and then
Okay, perfect. Wow. I was like, I thought I was on the wrong call because everybody was so promptly on time. I was like, wait, hold on. Am I on the right call? Okay, I'll get my slides ready to go. So then you guys just let me know when you're ready.
all right, cool. Here's Cal. Daisy. All right, about 1 more minute and we'll get started.
Recording in progress.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. So just a couple things off the top. Just a reminder to everyone, next week, Wednesday, Thursday, there won't be PC or Ignite because of the business planning clinic. And so everybody has the opportunity to attend that and you don't have to pick and choose what to go to. And then also, I just wanted to put out there to everyone as well, to take advantage of the PC transaction management. I'm on the other end of that. So when you send your contracts in, I help you keep track of your timelines, the whole transaction long, and you can email into the PC transaction management email if you have questions about your deals, and we can work on that stuff together. I've just been noticing not everybody is taking advantage of that, and it is kind of just a nice thing to have someone on the other end making sure that all the deadlines are being met and things like that. So feel free. So just take maybe 15 minutes here to go over our 10-4s, contacts, notes, previews, things like that. And see how we're doing on our accountability today and this week. Is there anybody that wants to get us started?
Well, I'll start. This is my third day, so I've entered some of the contacts, and I'm just still drinking from, as you call, the fire hose here.
Sure, absolutely.
But I'm catching on pretty fast, and I really appreciate it. Every bit of information I get every day. So thank you.
Yeah, we haven't met. I'm out of the Eugene Springfield office.
Hi, I'm Thornton. Yeah, nice to meet you, Aaron.
What market center are you in?
Medford.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Courtney, do you want to go next?
Sure, thanks. Sorry, I was late. I was
no
in a
worries.
scripts class.
Oh,
for
great. We just started, just doing the accountability.
Perfect.
Right?
So I'm actually working on going through my database right now and teasing out the groups that I had put together as one family unit and finding contact info for spouses, so that I can have them in my database as separate entries. So that's been my focus this morning, and along with the script classes and the state of the industry class. So trying to figure out when can I do data entry stuff and make phone calls when I'm not doing Zoom calls. It's a little bit tricky, but. Yeah.
Thanks, Courtney. Daisy, are you available?
Yes, I am. Hi. Okay, time blocking is definitely a challenge, Courtney. I feel you there. Doing database entries, I got 30 more entries into my database, and went and previewed another house today, so that was kind of cool.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. Great. Vanessa, you want to go next?
Yeah. So as far as contacts go, I
just got out of a meeting with the BNI group. So I met with them. So I got about 33 new contacts, I believe. They don't know me very well yet, so I just got to work on that.
Wonderful. That's great. Deanna?
Yes, I did add 5 more contacts. And then I did preview a house today in between Zoom meetings. It's been busy.
Yeah, I hear you there. Cal, how's it going with you?
Good. I was able to get 10 contacts in this morning after some script practice, and then I also set up a mock closing to do next week.
Great. Stella?
Hello, I added 6 contacts to my list. Those are individuals, and I've started collecting information from local businesses owned by women. So basically, it's going to be like BNI network, but my own. I'm planning to join BNI. I actually found a local BNI group. So, and in that group of 2 women who I personally know, who run their own businesses, I got 2 contacts.
Great. That's
So total
awesome.
is 8 contacts.
And then Hannah?
Sorry, I'm here. I have made 4 phone calls today. No answers. Those are leads that came in from Facebook, from the ad. Again, same ad. I don't know why they like it so much. And so mad. I think I'm just lucky. I don't know.
Oh, that's great.
I had a long conversation with Matt this morning. He showed me some RLID stuff that I didn't even know. So that's always really nice. He always dumps wisdom on me, just dumps it. And I'm like, I need a notepad for this. But I am being extra and then making it. Can you see that? No.
It's all blurry.
Here, hold on. Can I fix that? None. Okay. Making these, like, I'm making them because I'm extra and I don't want people to throw my stuff away. So I'm making like these little invited cards with my stuff in it, and I'm going to take them for just a couple of neighbors for my I'm doing an open house on Thursday and Saturday, so just not a ton, but just some. So it's not something they're going to just toss in the trash, hopefully. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Awesome. That's great. And Carly?
This is my first class. I missed the first couple two or whatever. So I'm just jumping in. I'm not really sure what's going on at all, but yeah.
I'll get you caught up, Carly.
Okay.
What market center are you in?
Portland.
Portland. Okay. So at the beginning of each PC and Ignite class, we take a few minutes to just go over whether we're hitting our 10 contacts a day, also the 10 note cards that we're supposed to be sending out per day, and then the 10 viewings of property per week. And I'll have your PC coach in Portland reach out to you so that you have all that information. So we had a couple join late. Gretchen, are you available?
I'm actually getting ready to go back to work in a few, but I thought I'd just jump on for a half hour.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're going to get started here in just a second. And then Lauren, do you have a second to update us on your 10-4?
Yeah, sure. I added about 30 new contacts. When was that? Yesterday. And then, so I haven't done any today. I haven't done notes yet. I'm trying to connect with people via Facebook and other, face-to-face, things like that right now. So I haven't done any notes yet.
Oh, that's great. So today we are going to do Find Your Business course, and that's going to be instructed by Danielle, who's part of the Terry DeBose team. She was born and raised here in Lane County. She graduated college magna cum laude with a business administration degree with focuses in marketing and management from Northwest Christian University. Real estate truly brings together her biggest passions in life: renovating, designing, investing, and helping others. Growing up as a contractor's daughter, she has a unique eye for detail and quality. She believes in unparalleled client-first customer service and is living her dream career. She truly prides herself on giving all her clients world-class service, whether they are buying, selling, or investing. And with that, I will pass things along to Danielle.
Hi guys, well that's quite the intro. Not that intense. You guys can talk to me about anything. I'm really excited to talk to you about finding our business today, and definitely want this to be like a super open conversation. If you guys have any questions, we can stop right where we're at. The content is, I've done this class before, so it's really interactive based. So definitely feel free to just raise your hand or comment in the comment box. We're going to go through the content. We're also going to have a couple videos today that we're going to be able to go through. So looks like you guys already went through kind of your check-in and your report for the 10-10-10. Is that correct? And we're good on that? Okay, perfect. So we're going to turn now. Okay, so let's go now to call number 1. Sorry, this is a little bit more intense than the last time I did it. Have you guys went over the scripts already on here? Aaron, would you like me to do that right now as well? Scripts for calling.
Go ahead, whatever your plan was. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, well, let's start out first talking a little bit about some of the things you guys are doing for lead generation and some of the things you feel like are working for you. So let's maybe hit into the chat box and just talk a little bit about what you guys are doing, what's working, and then we can sort of go into some more ideas and also some tools and systems to make sure we're staying consistent. So if you guys want to use the chat box on things that you're doing right now that you're liking, let's do that to start. Oh, perfect. Sorry, I lost my chat box for a second. You're like, you told me to chat, and then you're not responding. my lovely assistant's right here too, by the way. She's totally helping me. Okay, so networking, meeting new people, absolutely, that's great. Open houses and advertising those opens, great. We're definitely going to talk about that today a little bit and how we can optimize the open houses. So not only do we get one and we do it, but how do we make sure that we're putting everything in place to make sure we're getting clients from that as well. Bringing up real estate to every mattress company. That's awesome. Good. So you already have kind of like a built-in lead source there. Sports, rec, soccer, pickup basketball, open houses, happy hours. Awesome. Perfect. Door-to-door neighborhood with door hangers and conversations. Lauren, did you see the, it was on the list of like classes today, but Via, she has a Facebook group she's on the Ben Kinney team. She did one on what to say during door knocking. Did you see that class? Okay, that might be a good one. She usually posts everything on her Facebook, so you could go back to her and look, but she's like one of the top trainers in the Northwest. And I was like, ooh, that'd be a really good class. I missed it today, but that'd be a good one to go to. Okay, so face-to-face is best for me, but working on Facebook and other contacts. Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Sorry, what was her name again?
I think it's Via. It's like VIJA, I believe. If you look on the like daily update classes from today, it should be there. I think it's pronounced Via or VIJA, I believe. Oh, perfect. I just saw that in the chat box. I think this could be slightly off, but I think it's Thea Williams. And she's been Kenny team, but I think she's pretty much taken over all like training for that area now. But she's like, all of her classes are honestly really, really good. Those are like the main ones I definitely block out my calendar for these days. Okay. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. I just screen shared. Can you guys see my screen now? We've got the Ignite Skills to Spark a Great Career. Can you guys see that? Okay.
Yes, I can see it.
Perfect. For being in Zoom for 2 years, I'm definitely still getting more used to it because I do it like once every 2 months. Okay, so we're going to be talking about finding our business, expectations, actions revealed. So you guys have a lot of this. You guys have, most of you have your workbook, correct? Or it emailed to you?
No, but I can make 2.
Okay, perfect. Well, and I can definitely send this out after and just holler if you have any questions. Okay, so we're going to be going over today contacts, our note cards. We're going to have time to write note cards during the time. And if you guys don't have the supplies ready for that, that's okay. Last time what we did was we made a list of who we were going to write the note card to after class. So that's okay if you don't have that ready today. Videos, we're going to watch a couple of videos on lead generation, the value of touch campaigns, and then takeaways. We can all just talk about general lead generation tactics. So right now, it sounds like with the class, we're going through 10 contacts a day is the goal, speaking with 10 people in the database, and then writing 10 notes. So that's, if you guys have heard that before, that's new. That's going to be sort of the goal to get everything really ramped up. And building the database, because of course it takes more time to get everything built in if we're starting out. But that's a great habit to get into. I actually learned that in the Bold class. When I first started out, I didn't get to take this class like you guys did. So you guys are really lucky. But I went into the Bold class and it was talking about, you know, just really making sure we have a focus on reaching our contact numbers per day. And then weekly previewing 10 homes. So that should definitely help, especially when you guys are out doing your open houses and someone says, oh yeah, you know, that one on 35th. And you're like, oh yeah, of course, I just saw that one. Like you're definitely, it's going to bring you up to speed on your market knowledge really fast. So those are going to be our lead generation habit goals. Okay. So next, what we're going to do is we are going to do some call time if we're feeling good with that. I know this can be really nerve-wracking, but we can totally do it. Okay, do you guys have your book here? I'm gonna go to page 8. Got 2 different books I'm working off of here. So we're gonna go to page 8. Okay, so this is the script that we're looking at right now. Do you guys have page 8 up on the scripts right now? Just so I know if you guys have it in front of you. Yay, nay. Okay, that's good. Okay, so this is the script. We'll say, hi, Danielle. We'll say, hi, Karen. My name is Danielle with Keller Williams Realty. Your name was given to me by a close friend of ours, Amet, and he or she said I should give you a call. Is right now a good time to talk for a couple minutes? Excellent. So this script is based off a referral. So if we don't have a referral sitting in front of us, this one might be a little hard. So let's maybe not go with that one. That seems silly on page 8. Let's do the new to real estate one. This is probably the most pertinent one for us. Hello, this is Danielle. Do you have a moment? I'd like to share some exciting news that I have become a real estate agent with Keller Williams Realty. With this new partnership, I have all of their knowledge working for me, plus my clients get all my enthusiasm and hard work. I thought about sharing this with you because I knew that you'd be someone who could help me grow my business. How are we feeling on calling someone right now? Is that like really terrifying us, or how are we feeling on that? Terrifying?
I don't think I could call anybody I know saying those exact words.
Yeah. Okay.
Similar kinds of concepts.
Yep.
But it's not organic. It would be completely,
Totally.
you would know.
I feel good.
Like the script.
Yes, totally. I am not a huge script person. I think, okay, so here's my thing on scripts that I think is really good to know is if you dive into the scripts, it will become more natural when you're talking, that parts of the script will emerge. And maybe then after, you went over the script a few times, it'd be natural for you to say, like, I knew you'd be someone who could help me grow my business. That would probably just come out in conversation versus reading a paragraph. So it's up to you and how comfortable you feel with scripting. I personally feel like a conversation is like a better option for us. So we can definitely, like, you guys can see the scripts. I can send this to you after, but I think there's parts of scripts that are super helpful. And especially when you're not quite ready to like organically just like spew things about the market, having some things that are slightly scripted that go in between other things that you're talking about will be really helpful. So yeah, that's why I want to get your guys' feeling. I mean, if you would have told me like my first week to just call for somebody for 20 minutes, I would have been like, you're literally crazy. So I will not make you guys do that. But I would recommend definitely, even if you're like, I'm not a scripted person, get into the scripts a little bit to feel more comfortable with some of those terms and sort of like sentences that would sort of start to flow together more naturally. For sure. I think that could also be something too, where if you guys are reaching out like via social media, something that you could be looking at the scripts that are maybe shorter to say something like, hey, could I give you a call to discuss XYZ? Like you would have sort of a basis already for something to talk about. So does that help a little bit on scripts? Sort of my stance on it, at least. Okay. Everybody feels differently about those. And I think it's more like personality based than anything, is like how comfortable you feel with that. Okay, so let's move on to handwritten notes, and let's do those for can we do those? Do we feel confident we could do some handwritten notes?
I will see.
Okay, we'll see. Okay, we can do it. Okay, so we've got a few different options. Let's maybe go with Mets. Those are people we've met. So maybe we met them at an open house, or, they're a grandma's friend or something like that. Okay, so Mets. I can put this in the chat box too. You don't have to exactly write this just like the scripts, but this is just an idea. Thank you for taking the time to chat with me today. It was great to catch up with you and let you know that what I've been up to in my business. I'm thrilled to be with Keller Williams Realty, and I am available at any time for your needs. Please call me whenever a question or need comes up. Please stay in touch. Blah, blah, blah. There's a little bit. So we could do something like that. Maybe think of those newest contacts that you guys have put in this week and just do a touch. Be like, I love when these are really organic. My clients love these. Like, hey, I was just thinking about you when I was building my newsletter database. I just put you in and I'm really excited about the content. If you know anybody who's going to be looking to buy or sell, I would love to help. Or just like, hey, you popped in my mind today. Like it doesn't even have to be like super like forward. I think with the handwritten notes, it's really the thought that counts. One thing that people always ask me is, do I put my business card in the handwritten note? My personal opinion is always put it in there, even if it's not real estate related, because they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, Danielle's little card. That's so cool. Like it connects you to real estate as many times as possible during the year. So let's take 5 minutes, and I'll just do a timer, and let's try to write out as many of those as we can. And if we don't have the supplies in front of us, let's make a list of who you want to write it to and kind of a general outline of what you want to write to them, just so then you have a list that you could reference back to. I'm going to get back in the chat box here if I can find it, and I will write out a little bit for you guys, like a few ideas of things that you could say. I think one thing, I was just typing that out. I just put a little blurb in the chat box for you guys. One thing I really like about that one, I think you could change up a lot of things, but I would stick with the I'll stay in touch. I think that one really, it sets you up for the next call or the next touch by saying, hey, I'm going to follow up with you, or I'm going to touch you again. That just gets them prepared that when that happens next time, if you go to call them, you'll be like, hey, I know when I sent you that card in October, I told you I'd stay in touch. Like, I just want to make sure, if there's anything I need to help you with, or, whatever your thing is for that time. But I like that I'll stay in touch, because you set up your next call to them organically yourself. Okay, so how are we doing? Did we get a pretty good list going? Okay, perfect. A couple of things I was thinking of on handwritten notes too is I know you guys have a pretty big goal of 10 per day in the course. One thing that has helped me in the past is if I'm having difficulty trying to figure out who that I could write a note to today, I go into my Facebook and I see like who got married, who got engaged, who got married, I don't know, anything, like any life event, who got a new job, anything like that. And I just drop them a note congratulating them on that accomplishment or exciting news, or if they had a baby, anything like that. So it's just kind of like a reason to write a card. And it should help you get to that 10 quicker than just like organically thinking of people. Another thing that you guys can do when you're building your database, this could be contacts or handwritten notes, is there is these, like they're called memory joggers, and you can find them on Pinterest and just type in like memory jogger. I honestly get a new one every time because they're different and better. But it'll go in and it'll be like, think of this, and this. And then you write next to it what person you could add. So to be like a plumber, you'd be like, oh, I know a plumber, this person. And then once you fill out the whole sheet, you should have like a solid amount of contacts right there to put in your database. And you could just do the handwritten card to those people as well. So that's just a little tip for if you're feeling like you're having a difficult time thinking of people.
Can I say something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry. Another idea too is like right where you were at, but Facebook will tell you who has birthdays in that month.
Yeah.
So it kind of, instead of like the overwhelming, like I know 300 people, like just this month, 20 birthday cards, easy peasy. Then you know who to focus on if you don't have their address too.
Yeah.
Just kind of helps me that way.
Yeah. And that's something too, is like you could ask them for their address. Like, hey, I wanted to send you something, ask for their address. So that way you can have the address. Another thing that was making me think a little bit when I was reading those scripts for the referral and the meds, that was one thing that I had a lot of difficulty with when I first started, was like, I didn't deserve to ask for a referral from something I hadn't done yet. And I think like when I finally got over that, it really like changed, because it was more like, even a client that I was already working with, why would I wait until I close the transaction to ask for a referral? Like looking back, that seems a little silly, but it was just a lack of confidence. When it's like, hey, I know that you're thinking about buying a house and it's probably top of mind. If you hear of anybody else who's looking to buy a house, I would love for you to refer them to me. That would mean a lot. And once I just like got comfortable with saying that, my referrals became more natural, because I also was teaching my clients to refer. Because if you wait all the way till the end and then you start saying like, hey, I would love a referral, you're like, that's weird. You've never asked me for a referral before and I've known you for 9 months. Whereas if you just start asking them right away in like a really organic way, then it's like, oh yeah, let me think. And it's like, okay, awesome. Like my goal is always for my clients to give me at least another client per year, because if they're not talking about me, I didn't do a good job. And so that's just where like, it's just, I don't know. Once I started to get over that, it felt a lot better. So maybe you guys might be feeling the same thing too. So I think I'd just encourage you to say like, it's okay to ask, because those people picked you for a reason and they're excited about you. So why wouldn't they want to share you with their friends and family? So I hope that's it.
So I was thinking of handwritten notes as follow-up to conversations or connections that you've had, and not just like an initial like, hey, how you been doing kind of thing. Is that true? Like have a phone contact. So personally, I hate phone calls, and so it's hard for me to do. I don't like them myself. They're interruptive, and I know a lot of people who don't like them, would rather have a text or something. Not sure how to count those, and then follow up with a handwritten note after something like that. I don't know, just ideas. I need to break through these things.
No, that's perfect. I love it. Like a lot of this is mindset, and it's also like figuring out what works for you is most important. So this is actually something Terry, my principal broker, taught me. And she was very nervous about just cold calling somebody out of the blue. So maybe she's met them or knew them. She would like toss it up, just like how that other one said. She would go like, oh my gosh, like you just popped into my mind, or it was great running into you the other day. Like we have to catch up. Like I'm going to call you in a couple weeks. We definitely need to talk more. And then it basically gave her license to call. She just set her own appointment that she was going to be calling in the next 2 weeks. Now, the key is you have to call in the next 2 weeks or whatever timeline you give yourself. But as long as you do that, you set yourself up for the next appointment, basically. And an appointment being you're just talking and catching up and figuring out, there's a good one. Gosh, what's the name of it? I'm going to send it after to you guys. It reminded me of something. It's like a 4 acronym on like what to say when you get on the phone. So I'll send that to you guys after. Does that help a little bit?
Well, I'm trying to kind of arrange an order of things in my mind, like how it, and I know everybody does it differently, but I'm not comfortable yet with how to do it. Like phone call like that, like I'm going to contact you. I don't know. And then a handwritten note before that next contact. I don't know.
I think the thing,
none of it feels organic, that's for sure.
yeah, it will get there. I think the thing is to think of every client individually or every person individually, because your people better than anybody else, right? Like, some of my friends from college, they're going to respond to a text message, but they're not going to respond to a phone call, so sort of get to know each of the people. And if you don't maybe know that person, but your style feels most comfortable with a handwritten note that sets up a phone call, do that. Or maybe it's a couple handwritten notes before a phone call. I don't think it has to be a certain way, as long as you're contacting consistently and that person is feeling best with that type of contact. Because we as realtors or as communicators in general want to communicate with that person how they best want to be communicated with. So and that's something I ask in every buyer's meeting before we get started is, how do you best like to be communicated with? Do you like texting? Do you like email? Do you like phone calls? And they love when I ask that question, because they're like, oh, I actually work like crazy hours. So texting is just always the best for me. And I'm like, oh, good. Okay. I'll make sure I'll definitely text you during work. And if there's something I'll have to email you, I'll text you before I email you. And they just love that feeling of like, they're getting communicated with how they want to be communicated with. Does that sort of help a little bit? Okay, I hope so. The phone is my least favorite way to communicate, but I find with certain groups of people, that's the only way. I mean, I have one guy's number and I only have his house number. Like, I don't have a choice. I've got to call his house number. So, I hope that's sort of helpful, but it'll get better and it'll feel more organic once you start feeling like you're conversing consistently and you're confident in what you're saying. Because then it's like, okay, well, I got this, Okay, so we're gonna watch, let me get here. Get my video.
Daniel, I have a question.
Yeah.
So let's say I met somebody and we had a chat, and then I got that person's phone number, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I called that person. Then I want to send him or her a card. How do I know their mailing address?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's a few different ways. I use what's called white pages.
Oh,
I think it's like $3 a month. Usually what I do, that's for like an astronomical amount of searches too. And then RLID is another one. So usually I go into RLID first because I want to know how many properties they have, what those properties are, like kind of like a little like search into their property history. They could always be hiding them under like an LLC or a trust or something like that, but I would want to know that first. Mm-hmm. So RLID first, and then I usually go to white pages second.
Okay, and RLID?
Yeah, it's
what was spelled?
Let me see. Can you guys see my screen right now?
Yes.
Okay, so this is called Regional Land and Information Database of Lane County. Not sure how much this is, but Aaron and Mark could definitely hook you up with this. Before I write any offer, I always go in and cross-check the property on RLID. Make sure like the square footage looks the same, the bedroom bathrooms look the same, all that type of stuff. I'll look for permits here. So like I'm in RLID pretty consistently throughout the day. But what you can do, I'll show you here. I'll just log in and,
I can only see just your screen, your slides. I don't know if
Our
anybody
little-
else.
okay, you can't see the Artlid. Okay,
No.
let me get here. Can you guys see it now? Let me go back here. Oops. Here, what I'll do is I'll send a screenshot into the chat. I'm not sure how I can share this both at the same time. Sorry. I'll work on my tech skills. Someday we'll be in person. You guys can just come into my office. Always come to my office. I always tell people that. I'm like down the hallway, 3-4 in, it's Terry DeBose & Co. We're on both sides. We like pretty much always have somebody sitting in our office. So if you guys are ever in a panic, just come down there and we'll try to help you guys with anything.
Daniel,
Yep.
what's the spelling of the second website? I didn't get it.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Can you type it, please?
Yep. It's called Artlid. If you ask Aaron and Amara about that, they'll know exactly what it is. But that's something I don't know how much it is per month because my team pays for it. Or I don't know if Keller Williams has a login potentially.
Matt was just telling me it's like $10 a month.
Okay, yeah. And I would definitely say like I'm totally not into paying for things normally, but it's like a big part of what I do, especially with like cross-checking things. Okay, so that was kind of a little side tangent on Artlid there. So we've got land information. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so let's do that. I'm gonna send you guys the videos. Okay, so let's go making it happen, prospecting. Okay, we're gonna discuss questions. Okay, so kind of looking at the funnel a little bit, have you guys played around too much in Command at this point? A little bit, okay. That is a way to track your funnel. So we'll kind of go through this. So in my office, I have like a big whiteboard and I drop people down in the funnel like naturally. So if like it's someone I know who's like, yeah, Danielle, I want to buy a house in the next year, like they're going to be at the top of my funnel and I'm going to be working to work them through, or whatever as they want to be. Leads, appointments, agreements, and contracts is basically where we're working them through. I will say one thing, I have a MAPS coach. My coach has been really talking to me a lot about how important more than ever, having more appointments with your clients that aren't at the house, especially being a buyer's agent, it's very feels very fast sometimes where we're like going here to here to here. Whereas like, let's step back a second, have an appointment, I call them strategy sessions, about what we're doing, why we're doing it, and when we're doing it with the clients. And that really just lays such a groundwork that I'm not losing them back in the funnel because we're all on the same page and we're going through. So that's a big part of like my prospecting is I want my clients to be coming in, meeting with me and going over what our plan, what our strategy is, and what we could be doing best. That also helps me move them through the funnel quicker because they're not confused on where they're at in the funnel because we've all made that decision together on where we're at. So I would say like I focus a lot on appointments. I really do because I know if I get the appointment, I'm going to get the agreement. And you'll start to track your conversion. But like our team says, like if we get an appointment, we're getting the listing. Like we have that confidence that if we go up against whoever we're going up against, we will get the contract. So I think like for me, always, I'm not worried about the agreement. I'm worried about the appointment. The more appointments I set with clients or potential clients, I'll have success, like I'm not worried about the agreement. We'll get to the contract. If we can get to the appointment, I think that's where the win lies in lead generation. Because once someone has agreed to meet with you, that's already a big buy-in on their part saying like, hey, I'm going to take the time to do this, come in and meet with you. So that's a little bit. Any questions on prospecting, like sort of what the funnel looks like, or any concerns with any parts of the funnel? I had someone tell me a long time ago, they're like, we're just in the lead generation business. Like everything else we can figure out later. And that like really simplified things for me, because I was so stressed about, well, what if, what's next? And it was like, nobody cares what's next. We can figure it out. Like you can walk down to my office, you can walk to Mara, Tom, Aaron, like we can figure out what's next. But if you have the lead and you've secured the business, you're golden. Like we can figure out everything else later. And I think that simplification for me was like, okay, all I have to do is find the lead, get that person excited about buying or selling, and show confidence. We can figure out everything else later. I mean, till this day, I've never done a deal that's the same twice. They're all different. There's always learning involved. So I think like taking out that fear of like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's next or what's going to happen. It's like, it really doesn't matter. We'll figure it out. And I think that's like where we fall back on Keller Williams in the way of like, we have 400 experienced agents. We have a principal broker. We have all these people who are ready to help. And one line I used, oh my gosh, I probably should have just tattooed it on my arm my first year of real estate, was, I'm not 100% sure on that. Let me check with my principal broker and get back to you. Like nobody's mad about you getting back to them. They're like, oh, wow, thanks for checking, or like, I'm not quite 100% sure on that. I'm 99% sure, but let me double check with my principal broker. And that just gives that person the confidence that you're looking out for them. And also, okay, yeah, I can go back and talk to Tom or talk to Mara then and figure out what's going on. So I think that's like a big part of the first year, is just like not being concerned about using that line and using your resources. Like really what we do is we connect people. Like we're going to go in and we're going to connect a plumber to a homeowner, or we're going to connect an insurance agent to a homeowner. Like we're the vessel that connects all those people. So any other questions on any part of the funnel at all? Not yet. Okay. Okay, the 4 C's of prospecting: capture, connect, close, and cultivate. Okay, so yeah, it's just a few different terms basically for the same thing, but capturing the lead, connecting with the lead, closing the lead. So yeah, those all come in different ways, and that's I think one thing. If any of you haven't read the book yet, I know you guys are getting so much thrown at you, so maybe put this on your calendar for a few months out, but the book, The One Thing, oh, good job. Does everybody have it? Oh, great book. Because there's so much coming at you and you're just like, holy guacamole, what do I even focus on right now? I feel like there's like so much. And I feel like when you go back to being like, my one thing is X. And if I were to pick my one thing in my first year, and even today, I should pick that, is my one thing is to lead generate. If I do one thing today, I need to lead generate, because that's the future of your business. Today, the things that are pending, or, even not even pending yet, almost pending, those in my mind are almost out of the funnel, because I feel confident that I'm going to close that lead. I'm thinking 3, 6, 12, 18 months out on who's going to be calling me to say, Danielle, I want to sell my house, or Danielle, I want to buy my house. But yeah, capturing, connecting, closing, and cultivating. But I think the one thing will definitely get you focused on what your one thing is specific to lead generation, because it looks different for everybody. I mean, one person could be great at social media, another person could be great in person, another person's great on the phone. Like there's so many ways to be successful, and the number one thing is just be consistent with what you choose. They'll all work in a certain life cycle amount of time. It's just if you're going to stay consistent with it. So that's a little bit of that. Okay, sphere of sphere. That's always a funny word. Sphere of influence. All the people you know, trust, and may do business with you. So I think this is like the number one spot to focus your database. It's like if you know them, if they're in your family, like first start there. If they're in your family or you've talked to them in the last 12 months, they've got to be in your database right away. So that's your sphere. So these are the people who are most likely to refer you consistently. And this is where I focus a lot of my day-to-day activity is, you know, of course I love my friends, but my friends know that I'm able to talk to them on the phone while I'm at work because they refer business to me. Like my sphere knows that like I'm their girl for anything home. Like you call me if you need an HVAC person, you call me if you need your house painted, you call me if you don't know what color to paint your wall. Like call me if you know any of that or, you know, want my help. So I think that's like such an important, like love on your sphere really, really consistently more than anything else. And that will definitely yield big results for sure. And I'd go back to the tracker on that, but more than anything, it's like, look through your phone. I actually, in Bold, they taught me that. This was like forever ago. And if you scroll all the way down to your phone, if you have an iPhone, I don't know what everybody else looks like, but like I have 1,369 contacts in my phone. And they were basically like, there's no reason that you shouldn't have 1,369 people in your database. And I was like, wow, that was actually kind of mind blowing. Do I have 1,369? No, I have work to do. But I think that that's, you know, it just reminds you like, oh my gosh, like I've had this phone for what, like 10 years, but it's a good spot to go to if you're unsure on maybe who might be in your database. I mean, even like you see on the bottom, like these are all people who I have like just their address, like 3116 Metolius potential seller. Like I didn't even know their name, but I just put them in my phone. So you guys better not go call that person. I was kidding. So yeah, and then, you know, you can just go through, go by the letter, and that's a big way to build that database up. But that's where I was going with the sphere. The sphere, I went into the text messages and looked. If you've texted them in the last year, they're more than likely not in your sphere unless it was a business something. But so that's what I did is I went 1,369 and my contacts went, that's where I need to be, my general database to go. But look in your text messages for your sphere, and then you can even tag them as your sphere in command. And I'll go in and pull my tabs, and I'll go like into sphere, and I'll say, okay, these are my people that are like my top people basically. Because you can do the same thing with tags for like open houses, Mets, you know, called not Mets, like stuff like that. You can create tags. I didn't create tags when I first started, and it was a lot of work to go back through and create those. So that might be something that's good to do as you guys are building it to start, is just create the tags the first time you put the person in there and just say like, met him at my open house or whatever. Because then you can go in, you can pull a list and say like open house leads, and you could just call the open house leads all that day. It just kind of creates a little bit more structure and focus versus just like opening up command and being like, who am I going to call today? Because that's difficult, especially when you're already feeling nervous. Any questions so far that you guys would like to ask? I feel like I'm talking a lot. No questions? Okay. Okay, so we've got, do you guys have a sphere of influence sheet?
Is that in our Ignite?
Yes, it should be in your Ignite book. It looks like this. It's got like quadrants. Should be on page 22.
Your pages are different than our pages in the newest one.
Okay. Yeah, it shows page 22 here. It might be close.
Your turn sphere of influence.
Your turn. Yep, sphere of influence.
Okay.
That's it.
Page
Yep.
22.
22. Okay, it is 22. Okay. Okay, good. Yours is page 22 too. Okay, so for people who don't maybe have this book open, I'll read out the quadrants so then you could participate too. Immediate family is one of them. Hobby and sports groups, personal services, hair, nails, etc. Friends, teachers, auto repair, relatives, church, club, or volunteer, real estate agents, neighbors, professional services, mortgage, title, appraiser, inspectors, past coworkers, bank, insurance, financial attorney, or other. So let's go through this for 10 minutes and figure out, let's just try to add as many new people into our sphere category that you guys can go back and build your database later. So this should help you with your homework for the next couple weeks. So let's go through. I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes and let's 10 minutes and let's race to see who can get the most into our sphere of influence categories. So let's start. I just started the clock right now. So let's go for 10 minutes and then let's see who can get the most that we could go back and add later. Okay, we got 3 more minutes. Okay, 30 seconds. Almost done. Okay, we got our 10 minutes in. Okay, what's everybody's numbers? Do we want a second to count them up? Everybody count them up and then let me know what your sphere number was that you guys came up with during that 10 minutes. You guys can put it in the chat or say it out loud, either one. 68, that's really good. Nice, 56, 25. 68 looks like the highest so far, Daisy, nice job. 62. Good, also really good. 31, 70. I'm like really impressed. I'm like, dang, that's a lot. 22, nice. Really, really good. Good job. I would definitely encourage you guys to go back to this because I've went back to it so many times. I'm like, dang, I can't believe I like thought of more and more and more people. And it really just helps you like get a solid amount to add versus just like sitting at the computer versus being like, gosh, who am I going to add today? Your mind just sort of blocks off potential opportunities like this one. So I would take that list, and if you guys then get hooked up with Arlid, and White Pages is also a really good resource. A lot of times too, honestly, if you even Google it, you can find their address, which is kind of creepy, but you can usually find it there too. But White Pages definitely helps. It's not always 100% right. The addresses, I would say, are more consistently right than the phone numbers. The phone numbers we've had a little bit of difficulty with, but it'll track people back, and like it'll send me notifications when people move, or different like apartments, stuff like that. So it is a pretty good resource. Okay, so we're gonna watch a video next. So I'm gonna send that over in the chat box, and we're gonna do Cold Calling with Real Estate Brothers is the name of the video. So if everybody wants to click on this and then watch the video, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. I'll put it in the chat box right now.
Daniel, how do I access the video?
What'd you say? Sorry.
How to access the video?
Oh, is it not working when you click on it?
I don't even see that.
If you see it in the chat box, you should just be able to copy and paste that one into your browser, and it should come up.
That were predictable. So we just kind of started cold calling about 3 hours a day, and we found that the results were phenomenal. Come take a look where we've been this whole time. You can literally do it from your kitchen. It's just more time effective. Yeah. If you're cheap like we are, you don't want to spend a ton of money on the web or in print. Telephone lines, you pay a monthly bill and you can call all you want. Why don't you come in here and show you the cold calling? We've got a map where we've broken the entire city into zones. We like to target areas where we have buyers. It's been scrubbed to the do not call list, and it still represents over 250,000 phone numbers. All of our desks have 3 monitors. We have Mojo in the middle. We have our scripts on the right. And then on the left, do some research on the house they're calling for, stuff like that. Cold calling is like adding jet fuel to your car or something. Like it pumps your business up. We went from making, what was our first year? Like 70K. And then this year together we did $1.1 million. So this is Sean calling from the Real Estate Brothers. You know what? I'm so sorry about Pete today, but I just noticed that you have to treat cold calling as though it's an appointment. If you don't prioritize it, things will always find their way in and block you from being able to do it. It's the most important thing you can do for your business. Absolutely most important. And you have to quantify it as well. The bold 100 contacts a week is a really, really cool way to set a bar. And get started and stick to it. Whatever your decision is. I was just wondering, has anything changed in your plans? Are you still thinking this spring to get it on the market? You can't think today was a bad cold calling day, because today doesn't matter. What matters is what you accomplish in a year. And if you just keep adding people to your database and systematically follow up with them and take care of the people who you work for, you'll do great. You're not always going to have great success every day, but it's by doing it every day that you have great success. We're going to be in the neighborhood for the next 2 weeks giving free evaluations. You know what I'd love to do? I'll say too that one thing that we were afraid of, and I think everyone is just the rejection side of things. People being mean to you on the phone and rude. We have this saying with our team that you're either part of our future or part of our past, and either way it's fine. The people who are rude to us are obviously not going to be part of our future. Have a chuckle about it. Like, honestly, when someone cusses at me or something, I just laugh because it's funny. Do you think that it might make sense for us to feel some intensity for the weekend? The more time you spend not on the phone, you're losing money, because that 3 hours of my day is my 20% where I make my money. Don't get ready to start thinking about how you're going to eventually do something. Just do it. Like, just do it. Done. Stop watching this video. Get off your butt and go start dialing numbers and talking to people. Just get on the phone. Yeah. And if you hate money, don't do it. Yeah.
Okay, did you guys finish up the video? You got it? Okay. Yeah. So cold calling is their strategy. The one thing I did like that they said was lead generation as an appointment. And I think that that's really important because, yeah, if you hate money, don't do it. Yeah, that one cracked me up too. They were good characters. Yeah, cold calling. So they're choosing cold calling as their lead generation appointment. You could choose your one thing as your lead generation appointment. I think it's important to just set it. And especially once you start getting more into that like day-to-day deal flow and it feels like a lot is happening in your active deals, that's when the lead generation can go to the wayside. And that's what you get, you know, the ebbs and flows of business where you're like, I'm doing awesome. And then you're like, oh my God, I have no clients. I'm doing awesome. I have no clients. That's like where we can get on that real estate roller coaster. And the biggest thing that, you know, a lot of people and me including have found is, you know, if we lead generate consistently, our business is more consistent. So that's up to you what you choose to decide to do with, you know, your lead generation piece. And it obviously could be a few different things. I've even seen a few different calendars of like my friends who they'll do like Monday, Wednesday, Friday something, and then like Tuesday, Thursday something else as far as like a lead generating activity, which I thought was a good idea too. So then you don't just feel like every day you have like this appointment where you're like, what do I do during this day? You feel like you've already said it. Any questions on the video? Good ending. Yeah, I did like the ending. Any questions on the video or takeaways?
I saw they use Mojo for scrubbing for the do not call.
Yeah.
And that one had been recommended to me by Allie as well. So is there, sorry if you already talked about this. I was like pretty sure that is it an app or a website, and how much does it cost?
I don't know on that specifically. I've never personally used it. I have heard there's two of them. There's Mojo and one other one that's a pretty like popular top one. I mostly heard about it when I was in Bold from like ISAs using it because it just gets the calls going faster and it like pre-dials for you. So I think depending on how much you pay, you can do like 3 dials at a time. And then if someone picks up, you're on the phone for the pickup. So I personally have never used the dialer before, but some people swear by it. So that's again, like where we go back to like, there's so many things that can make you successful. It's just doing 1 or 2 things consistently will be good. So are you in the Portland market? Okay, yeah. I do know definitely like Portland had a lot more experience with it than Eugene for sure. In Bold, when I was in it, they knew a lot more about it for sure. Eugene was like, I don't know. Eugene's still got that small town vibe, you know, someone might punch me if I dialed. Okay, so we're gonna go get this video down. We've got another video coming up too, so. Okay, let's go into screen influence. Okay, yeah, and that was one thing too, like the headline on this one with time blocking. And I think that is something to really go back to is looking at your calendar and figuring out where that block is going to be that you're going to be the most efficient and effective with your lead generation. Talking to a lot of people, most people find that the morning is going to be the best place for them to get that done before the day starts getting crazier. And two, it's just out of the way. Like, you know, you already did it and you did your one thing, so you're good. So I have my time block between 9:30 and 11:30. By 11:30, it's like my day is getting like really wild. So like I've got to sort of go out in the field pretty quickly usually. So that's like if I tried to do my lead generation in the afternoon, like it quite frankly wouldn't happen because I'd be getting pulled in a lot of different directions. So that was one thing too, when like I showed my coach my original time blocks calendar, she was just like, no, like go back to the drawing board. Like you have to reduce the amount of things. Cause mine was like, looked like a rainbow, you know, like everything was just like, and she was like, that is not realistic. And I was like, you're right. That's not realistic. Like tomorrow I probably wouldn't follow it already. Right. So I think she encouraged me to like have open space between appointments to like think and like digress appointments. So, or digress, like different things, because if you're just so time blocked, you're probably not going to do it because it's just going to be like way too rigorous. So I'd say like the major blocks she had me, like I had time blocking. I had my lead generation. And then I have my family dinner, which is something that like that is like my try to not negotiate at all, because I have a 2-year-old and I'm trying to make it for dinner, which can be hard as a buyer's agent when you're showing a lot. So those are my 2, is like lead generation and dinner. So I have to try to make it to those 2 things. But that could be totally different for you. That could be like golf or tennis or whatever. So, okay. So yeah, that's time blocking base, prospecting opportunities. Okay, so I'm going in here. You guys would be shocked at how many screens I have open right now. Okay, so we're gonna go in. Okay, I can find this other video really quick. Okay, so let's watch this next video. Let's see what they've got for us here. And this one's finding more leads, and then we can discuss opportunities for finding more. So let's watch that really quick, and then we'll come back together. Okay. Hannah, I think if you go, you could see the video, okay, just not sound. Hannah, are you there? He's not on the video. Okay. Okay. Yeah, looks like she's having trouble with sound, but yeah, the sound is like down in the bottom right. Hopefully the video is still working. So we're gonna brainstorm some ideas on if we feel like we're hitting a wall on prospecting, different leads. So let me go back and let's discuss some opportunities. Okay, let's try to just use the video if we can, just so we don't have to be doing both. But what ideas do you guys have for prospecting opportunities that maybe were ones that they didn't list?
There's a ton of local Facebook groups that you can join. Are you wanting us to write these down or speak out loud?
Let's speak out loud if we can.
Oh.
Perfect.
There's like a ton of different local Facebook groups that you can join, like Pacific Northwest Women's Group or Lane County Mugshots, or, I mean, that's probably not the best example.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That's definitely a good idea for sure, is Facebook groups, like commenting in those. Like a lot of times, if someone says like, oh, does anybody know a realtor? There's like 700 people who respond. So I would definitely say like engaging in those in like a positive way that's more like specific and more like based around the community might be a good idea too. You know, or going to like connect with those people, potentially like one-on-one. If maybe it's like a mom's group, you're like, hey, like I'd love to get together or something like that. I always think that that can be a good way to make connection that's organic through there, for sure. Any other ideas?
Join a workout group or join a chorus group or try out for a play or anything that's going to put you with a group of people that you like doing stuff with.
Exactly. No, I think that was, I was at a training in Portland. This was like a couple years ago, but one of the biggest things he said, he was like, why do you all start joining these groups that you don't even like to go to? And like the whole like group was sort of laughing. They're like, he goes, so you're going to force yourself, you're telling me you're going to force yourself to go somewhere for an hour every week that you literally hate when you could just swap that other hour out for something that you really like. And he told this example about a gal that he was coaching out of Florida, and she had always wanted to play tennis her entire life. She wasn't generally very athletic, and her husband sort of was laughing her off. And her coach was like, for next quarter, I want you to just focus on playing tennis. Like, that's all I want you to focus on. She was like a really high producer at the time. She's like, your team can handle the rest, but I really want you to focus on tennis. And it ended up like exploding into this like massive group of tennis players that she was basically all of their realtor. And I just thought that was like such a great story, because he was like, you are really excited and passionate about tennis. Why are you at these other groups that like you don't even like being at? Like, everybody can sense that you don't like being there. And she came on and like gave a testimony. She's like, it transformed like my whole life, because I started doing what made me happy, and in turn I was giving off that energy to other people. And she was in control of the group, so she had like everybody's contact. She was like always in the group interacting, more because she liked the tennis than because she wanted the business, but the business was a byproduct of her being really inspired. So I thought that that was like a crazy cool story, and her husband totally got to say I told you so, so that was cool too. Okay, other, I don't know if they said it in there, but open houses is definitely like a big one for sure, like when you're feeling like you're coming in with cold leads. Have you guys taken a look at, like, it's the 7 levels of an open house? Have you guys seen that before? Has anybody seen that before, the 7 levels of an open house? Okay. Yeah, I would definitely recommend looking that up if you guys, to read that. Oh, go ahead. What'd you say?
I was just saying, yes, I have. Yeah.
Oh, you have? Okay. Yeah. I definitely recommend going in and reviewing that again before the open house, because I think that Via also, that was one thing that she had taught me in one of her classes, was set an intention for your open house. So instead of just being like, okay, I'm doing an open house on Thursday and Friday, your intention is, I'm going to set 2 appointments today, or 2 appointments this week by way of open house. So once you put that intention and that out into the universe, she's like, you start performing in a way that would get 2 appointments, not just hanging out at this open house, praying to God someone comes in to say, I want you to be my realtor. And that was really interesting, the way she said that. And it was based on the 7 levels, but she also recommended giving yourself more buffer time before the open house and after the open house as an opportunity to gain more business. Because she said, how often do you feel like you're rushing out of an open house because you have to get to the next thing, when in reality, we should be keeping that space open for somebody who might be the last person in the open house, and to say like, hey, I would actually love to just have the meeting right now if you're available. Like, see that change in mindset versus like, I'm trying to get this done, versus like, my intent is to set 2 appointments. And it was crazy once I took that class and started to gain more knowledge on just like keeping more space around what I was doing, more business came in, because I wasn't just checking things off and going to the next thing. I was going, my intent's to set 2 appointments, so here's how I'm going to have my schedule around that. Any other ideas on prospecting opportunities?
Daniel, I have a question.
Mhm.
So I have a very close relative who lives in Oregon longer than me, and I know she has a lot of contacts, like hair salons, people, nail salons, all of this area. But I do not personally know them. Can I get these contacts from her, or we collect information from people we personally introduced ourselves to?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's maybe brainstorm around that one, that specific case a little bit. If I was in that situation, maybe one thing that I might think about doing would be a pop by to introduce yourself and say like, hey, my cousin, you know, Kristen or whatever, my cousin Kristen said that you were just so great at hair, and I just wanted to stop by and introduce myself, and, you know, maybe make her like a little thing with your card on it, and just say like, I would love to refer business back and forth or something like that, where it makes it a relationship, a referral based, you know, depending on which industry each of them are in. But I would start there and maybe make a list of people who are service based and go with the referral script. And then if they're just somebody she knows who's a friend, then have a different option for that. So kind of break it up into two groups.
I see. Great. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Yep.
You might hear my baby and his grandpa playing in the next room, so don't mind that. I have a question about contacts I'm making at open houses with whom I've had a conversation that was really engaging about possibly maybe they had questions about real estate, but they are working with an agent. So like I can think of a specific example where this woman and I talked at length about her interior decorating business, and I wondered if I could follow up with her, but I was told not to if they're working with a realtor. And I guess that's why I'm asking you this question, because it feels safe to be like, you know, I know there are these code of ethics and everything, but so many people in my sphere already have a realtor also, and I'm contacting them. So what is it about these contacts that I'm making that means that I should not reach out at all? Or do you disagree with that?
It's interesting because it's kind of like that specific one, at least she's got like her interior design business. I would probably go from the way of value. Like, you're not looking to get her listing or her buy side right now. Like, hey, it was great to meet you. Like, I'm looking forward to learning more about your interior design business. Something like that, because I get where they're coming from in the way of like, don't do it at all. Because I get why, because that would like frustrate or make me upset. But I think also if you cannot ever refer to somebody who has a realtor, it's never going to work. You know what I mean? In like general life. So I'd say it's like a case by case basis. I usually don't, if they say they have a realtor. I have definitely gotten really mad at people who've done that to me, because I'm like, that's rude. And I just think it's not respectful. But I think like that way is a lot different, because you're like, obviously, like, you're not like, hey, I want to sell your house, like, ditch your realtor, you know?
Another quick question on that same note. So one time I accidentally followed up with someone who was working with a realtor.
Yeah.
This happened last weekend, where the house that I was in, there was an updated deadline of 8 p.m. for all the offers. And so I was trying to update the people I thought told me they weren't working with a realtor, just saying like, hey, just so you know, this is gave them my contact and wanted to update you on this. And they got back to me like, oh yeah. And I'm, you know, I'll let my realtor know. And I felt so badly, because I definitely did mix up the contact. Like, I couldn't remember which person it was.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's
I don't
hard.
know how much trouble I could get in for that, but that was
It'll be
awkward.
okay. Here's the thing. Like, I have called somebody on the do not call list before. That was my fault. I think you just fall on the sword and you just say, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. Like, I got my, you know, or just be like, I got my, you know, wires crossed on that one. I thought you were another client. Like, just let your realtor know, call me with any questions, you know? And so that's what I usually just always do, is like, if someone's like, oh yeah, we have a realtor, I'm like, okay. And that's one thing, like at an open house, if someone says like, oh yeah, we're working with a realtor, to keep like, to spin that like positively, usually what I'll say is, oh my gosh, that's awesome. Who's your realtor? Because then I get that information. So if we are the listing agent, I know, okay, I got to call Mara to see if her clients actually are interested. So if they were not signing in or if they're half signing in, I said, oh my gosh, that's awesome. Who's your realtor? Oh, Mara. Oh my gosh, I love Mara. Like complimentative, like, okay, yeah, I love Mara. We've worked together on several deals. That's so cool. And then if they're sort of looking around the house, I'd be like, you guys definitely feel free to bring Mara back if you guys want to do a second showing. I know it's a lot at an open house to see all it at once. And people really like that, like offering a second showing. And I personally think their agent needs to come anyways. So that's always something that sort of my script for if they have an agent. And then, yeah, if you texted them or whatever, I'd just sort of fall on your sword and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Have your agent call us, or, whatever. And I wouldn't worry too much about it. On to the next type of thing. It happens to the best of us. I'd probably laugh if you did that against me. I'd be like, are you texting my client? I'd be like, at least put me in a group text. I think it'll be okay. Okay, cool. Any other ideas or questions on prospecting opportunities? I would say anytime that you can get yourself into a position of leadership or into a position of organizing things, it's always good, I think, for your career as well as your credibility. That's something that early on, I just felt like, hey, I'm going to do some of these things, nonprofit, service, board related work, and know that this might be a little exhausting right now, but that will in turn, because people want to work with people that their values align with. So that was what I did at first, was I looked at organizations and thought like, okay, based on this commitment, I can handle this. That obviously changes as your lifestyle changes, but it's interesting. Like when I first started real estate, like I was not married and I had no kids. Now how I do things is a lot different because I'm shaping my life around my child and my husband. And so that's kind of, I think, an interesting thing to look at too, is like starting with the end in mind and saying like, my goal to live my best fulfilled life is to do X, Y, Z. Now, what can I do now around lead generation to make sure that I get to spend my 2 weeks in Hawaii and I'm at all my kids' stuff and all this? Because it's very possible. It just, you have to have that intention. Because as the business starts rolling, it gets busy and all of a sudden you're like chicken with your head cut off. But what I always go back to is like, my intention and why I do this business is so I can be the best mom I can be, and then work backwards. Because if I'm not, able to perform at my best level at home, I'm not performing at my best level at work. So beginning with the end in mind, that was someone told me that a long time ago. You'll hear that one a lot in KW now, and it'll be like, dang, that makes a lot of sense. Like if I already know what I want, I just have to make the steps to go get what I want. And it's just a plan, just follow the plan and it'll happen. So I'd say like nonprofit organization, any type of board work, anywhere, volunteering. I feel like having your kids in school helps a ton. Mine's not in school yet, but just meeting more people. It's definitely hard with the pandemic. I like what Daisy was saying about getting in the Facebook groups, because that's sort of an opportunity to connect online first, because I know a lot of people are not connecting, in person as much now. Anybody else have any other ideas before we go on to the next one? Ooh, social media. This is one of my favorites. I'm surprised we haven't barely talked about social media much at all. So this will be good. This is one of my personal favorites. Let's go to, okay, so page 36 in your packet should be there. I'm just catching up, 1 second. Do we post on Facebook? Oh, this is a fun little challenge. Okay, is everybody friends together on Facebook right now? Or are you guys friends yet? Okay.
No, but we need to be.
What?
I said no, but we need to be.
We need to be, yeah. Okay, so everybody, okay, let's all pick a partner.
Did you say page 46?
36.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Stella, are you on Facebook?
Oh, you know what? I have a good idea what we could do. I was like, this might
Yes.
be kind of a cluster if not. Let's all go to mine. And I just posted something today about the color of the year. So that'll be easy. Everybody
what
to
you're
go to the
doing.
color of the year and let's so we're each gonna post on Facebook and then to respond to each other's posts or comments. You may need to friend each other. So if we all go comment on mine really quick, then everybody can see each other and we can just add really easy. Do we
Look
like
at
that plan?
you, skyrocketing up to the top of your algorithm.
Oh, I know. Boom. Don't worry. I'm going to go right back at you once I see you. Okay. So let's
This is
do
really
that.
funny, Danny. I already just did, I did a post on the color of the year today as well.
Seriously? Oh my gosh. No way. We were on the same page. I know it's sort of spiraling off because I saw one of my, like, I'd say we're sort of sideline partners in Alabama. She likes design and stuff. And so every year when she designs a new house, she puts the color of the year in the house. I was like, ooh, I like that idea. Okay, so let's go here to Facebook. I gotta make sure I'm getting in, adding everybody. You guys, this is really, I normally don't even add realtors, so this is a really big deal. Because you guys are all getting in on my social here. Okay, let's see. Trevor, you in a few seconds ago? Yep, Daisy, Carla, Tiana. Okay, we should be in. And then it should be easy for everybody to.
I'm a little lost. What's your
That's okay.
Facebook?
Do you have Facebook?
I do, but it's not on my computer here.
Okay.
It's new and I'm not all set up. I have it on my phone. So
Everyone's gonna.
are you
laugh at
going
me.
in via Chrome?
I went in via Chrome. Yeah, just go to like facebook.com and then search in the bar Danielle Philpott. Click on that and then you'll see my first post once I add you. Okay, is everybody seeing each other now? So go in and add each other on Facebook. And I think this is honestly something really cool that you guys could do as a group to cheer each other on is helping each other by commenting and posting or sharing things. Because you guys are going to be meeting weekly. So I think this is like a great opportunity to be able to cheer each other on. So yeah, you can see some of my clients up top where I like it, you know, writing different stuff. So I'll comment back to you, but everybody like or add each other on Facebook. Watch for comments and likes to appear. Yeah. So that's one thing, like my algorithm was a little, oh, there we go, Courtney Love, has been a little stale lately. And that's one thing, like taking a lot of courses on social media, like 7 words or more usually gets you the most activity as far as like if you are the person who's commenting. Like Cal said, I'm partial to soap myself, like that would definitely help because it's a little bit longer. Because a lot of times you're like, oh, looks good, love it, like that will help, but a little bit longer is like even better. I do a lot of business on social media. That's like my #1 favorite place to interact with my clients. And I think it comes from wanting to have a personal relationship with my clients. And so like when I post, like I'm painting my fireplace or something, like a lot of my past clients were like, oh my gosh, what color are you going to do? Or like, what's going on? Like, what are you up to? And then we just start talking. It's like unrelated to the post in like 2 seconds. That's my favorite thing about social media is it gets you into conversation really quickly. And I'll even DM my clients like on Instagram about other stuff based on like how your clients like to be communicated. Most of my clients are under 30. So that's like where they love to be is usually Instagram. I am personally partial to Facebook just because I'm in that like weird age group that had Facebook and Instagram. But just depends on where they're at. I just say like do both Instagram and Facebook and then kind of see where they're at. Okay, is everybody liking each other's stuff? Okay, now everybody go in and do a post now. You guys could sort of copy mine. I'm gonna try to go in. So now everybody go in and do a post and we'll do the same thing we just did to everybody else.
The same post about the color?
You could, yeah, you could take that one, or you could do something different. You could do,
Like the color.
yeah, you could do a different idea though. You could do, you know, who has really good ones that I always like to look at is Cascade Title. If you're in Eugene, they're local. They have some really good ones that are like nice kind of graphic-y stuff. So you could always like reshare one of those. We're gonna go to chat. Okay, that's okay.
I'm sorry, but I'm so lost. I'm completely lost. So
that's okay. Okay, we're gonna go in.
I have your name up. I don't know what I was supposed to do. So I friend requested you. I don't know what else to do. I just see your name. I don't see anybody.
Okay, so now what we're gonna do, if you go to my profile, can you see my wall? Can you see where I said Benjamin Moore announced the color of the year for 2022?
No.
Okay, maybe 1 second. Let me see if I don't see any other friend requests waiting for me.
I just friend requested you.
Okay. Everybody else work on your posts while we're working on this one really quick, and then we'll start doing it for everybody else.
You know why? It's like I'm not in my other Facebook.
I don't
see. In Facebook are having issues, so I don't know.
Okay, that's okay.
I'm gonna freak out, so I'll just shut up and we'll let you guys do this one.
Oh, that's okay. We'll come back. The Great Granny San Nacho. Okay, perfect. Let me go in. Okay, let me know when whoever gets theirs up first, and we'll go in on and do that.
I just posted one.
Perfect. Who just said that? Sorry.
Cal.
Cal. Okay, perfect. I was just on your page. I must have just missed it. Is your full name Cal?
It is, yes.
Awesome. Oh, my husband's name is Calvin, and we call him Cal. So I was like, oh, Cal, that's super
perfect.
Cool. Yeah.
Mine is done too.
Yours done too. Okay, perfect. And you know what? Now this could be really cool. After we do this right now, we're going to have a lot of comments, a lot of people coming up to the top. If you guys haven't already announced that you are a realtor with Keller Williams, that might be the next post that you could do, because you're going to be very high up on the algorithm and people are going to be interacting with you a lot. So that would be my next suggestion, is probably tonight or tomorrow. That would be a great post to do, is something of that nature. Big game Thursday.
I'm just gonna, so we can just copy, we can just paste, we can just do the same post that you did, correct?
I'm fine with that. Yeah, I don't care. Totally.
Just gonna take what you did and get to work.
Perfect.
See. Right.
So Danny, I was working on my business page with Facebook. I decided to keep them a little bit separate so that I can really throw a lot of like market stats and other things on Facebook with my Courtney Love Real Estate. So that's where I actually posted about the colors of the year, or the color trends. So if you guys see a request from me, that's my business page, and that's